So Anna, thank you so much for joining me. We do have 20 minutes. We have a lot of things to talk about.
Yes,
Loads to discuss. We've already been chatting about the future of AI and what it holds for the industry.
exactly.
But in case people don't know who you are, what PayPal does, which would be silly, can you just tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Of course. My name is Anna Sztegielska. As previously stated, I joined PayPal a year ago, and soon I realized that the company is doing a lot of interesting stuff in payments, but it also took a spin on agentic commerce, which is, I guess, why you invited me today. And I just wanted to say this is our third time as PayPal here at TechChill, and I think this goes to say how important this region is for us when it comes to innovation. This is a stronghold of innovation, and I get very inspired every time I'm here. I must say that, the founders, the startups here, they are so unapologetic, chasing their dreams and ambitions. It's amazing. So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So maybe let's get started with, well, the fact that obviously AI has been shaping commerce for years, right? Recommendation, dynamic pricing, personalized offers. And I think a lot of times people don't even realize that, right? They don't even notice that. But at this moment, and something that you just touched based on, we're entering the new way, right? A new chapter, so agentic. So where do you think we are as of now on the spectrum from helpful, kind of a helpful little nudge to an autonomous decision maker? Where do we sit?
Well, I think, one thing is obvious. Like, we're decades past the helpful nudge stage. If you think about the vast amounts of data, information that is being collected and processed and analyzed about us to influence and manipulate us, sometimes in ways that we don't really comprehend, with our conscious mind, this is way beyond, just being helpful. And I would never say this is this stage, like waking up in a world where half of the humanity at some point decides that it loves the same white sneaker. I'm not gonna drop names here, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. Like, this is way beyond helpful. That was very well planned and even better executed. So we're definitely past that stage. Where we are now, and like we're talking about agentic commerce, and mind you, I think even 3 years ago, very few people were even using that term, and now everyone is. So I would say the acceleration is absolutely unheard of. But this is just the beginning. I think we are in something that I like calling conversational commerce. So this is something where the AI is helping us, do better what Google has been doing for the longest time at first, right? So this is mostly the discovery. But now, with more and more protocols, and this is also what PayPal is doing with some of the protocols, Perplexity, for example, Copilot, you can, the AI can see the transaction through to the very end stage, right? Including the payment. But this is still, like, you can say that this is AI driven, but this is still human assisted, right? So like the real agent, who has the real agency in the whole transaction is a human still. But when you think, and I guess you're most interested in, me telling you what I think about when the agentic commerce takes shape, when it's fully fledged, right? Agentic commerce, when you have millions of agents roaming the web, doing the transactions like completely autonomously, right? Without the human oversight. It just knows what you need and like it brings it to you, right? I think we are definitely not there yet. This is going to need some time to arrive for two reasons. So one reason is technical. I think the plumbing and the infrastructure is not there yet. So we don't have easy ways to seamlessly translate the human intent into what should be put in the cart ultimately. What kind of payment method is being selected. So this is still something that a lot of protocols are still working on and trying to answer these questions. But once this arrives, and it will arrive soon enough. I'm sure about that. We're gonna have to see change in the behavior. So the behavioral change will be, I think, it will take longer. We're gonna see a longer transition stage, and the reason is if you think about the psychology of shopping for different purchase categories, the low value, high frequency subscriptions, detergent, milk, like we're already automating it to a large extent, right? So that's going to be easy to outsource. But the polar opposite would be, think yourself buying a Cartier ring. Do you want to outsource it? I'm pretty sure you won't, right? Like this is unless you're buying it for someone that you really don't like, you're gonna want to enjoy the experience, right? So I think most of the discussion will happen in between, in these a little bit lower value, but not that one-off types of transactions. Think travel, and then before you decide, just to tell whichever protocol or the agent, for that matter, to buy you a trip to Paris. And with the depth of data that the AI will have on you at that stage, in a couple of years maybe, how do you know that it's not going to book you a trip to Lisbon instead of Paris? Because it's going to know better than yourself that you're going to like Lisbon better and the weather will be better. So I think it's going to take some trust for us to build first before we actually let the agents, really act on our behalf in all the aspects of life.
Which brings me to something that we've been discussing before we jumped on stage, trust, right? And the kind of the word is being thrown around quite a little bit right now.
Oh yeah.
And actually, historically, trust usually would happen at the checkout, right? You have the padlock, you have the familiar logo, card accepted, bam, done, you're gone.
That
But
is
now you have to have this trust before you even get to the checkout, right? Because you need to be in front of those kind of algorithms. So what does that shift mean for brands and maybe like even like slightly smaller ones who can't afford necessarily to optimize for algorithmic favor?
So this is a very good one, especially that I think it's going to be challenging, especially for the SMBs, because if you think about what's going on, like in today's digital advertising, right? Whoever can spend more on AdWords, right? Whoever can optimize better for the search engines is winning, right? And I think there's going to be another aspect that will be making the whole thing more complex for the SMBs, which will be the multitude of protocols, of LLMs, of technologies that you need to introduce into the company and integrate with. And of course, there's going to be layers. So like PayPal is one of these players that are trying to simplify it, like even today, right? So we're trying to be this abstraction layer, I would say, between our merchants and all of the protocols, and like in the future, probably by extension, the agents that are making, especially the smaller ones, like easier discoverable to the human eye. But I think like there's one aspect that I want to mention here, and this is a technical aspect. So because the agents and the protocols, they will be reaching out directly to the back end of your business. So I think to some extent, the game will shift from optimizing your landing page to a human eye design to optimizing your database for the agentic or machine ingestion. So the better discoverable the features of your product is via the APIs, the more discoverable you're going to be, your business will be with the agents and with the new protocols. And again, there will be always the layers in between that will help you do it, right? So like PayPal has this tool even today that is called store sync, right? And this is doing exactly that. So it ingests a merchant existing product feed, and it's making it discoverable, to a in a different AI-driven channels. So I think, like, if you think about this aspect, so the better you describe, the more data you're gonna make discoverable to these agents about your service, about your product. You can cater to more unique tastes. And if you have a group of people that are looking for something really tailored, I think this will be a chance for the smaller businesses to bloom if they integrate AI into their business the right way and early enough.
Which brings me to another question, which we can't just dismiss about the responsibility and overreach, especially when it comes to the AI optimization. And I do have a twofold question, so bear with me. So first and foremost, so when conversion rates go up because of AI personalization, is it always a win, right? And the second one would be when something gets optimized in a way that isn't in the consumer's interest, and if so, who do we hold accountable for that?
I mean, this is a million-dollar question, especially the number two. So let me start with the easy one. When it comes to conversion rates, right? If you're in the world of e-commerce and payments, ATV, the average transaction value, and conversion rate, like two holy grails, right? The higher, the better. But then, if you think about, you go out of the office and you think about the outside world, like, for example, people like the fast fashion, people being, shopping addicted. Is this positive? Not necessarily, right? So I wouldn't say that a higher conversion rate in that aspect is a win here. But so like it really depends on what gets optimized, right? And I cannot not think about one of the essays from Jacek Dukaj. If you don't know the writer and futurologist, highly recommend it. I follow him almost religiously, I would say. And he is painting the human future, in the AI agent times, in the agentic times, in a pretty gloomy way. So he's painting this picture where we all live with our own private mini LLM living on our mobile phone in our pocket. And it is collecting the data about you, following your vitals, following your actions, reactions, tastes, interactions, and everything all around you. And it has this overview of who you are, what you strive for, what's important for you, how you react, that you might not even realize yourself with your conscious mind, right? And it might come to a point where it is going to be able to preempt any of your thoughts, any of your desires or needs. So 10 minutes before you're going to be able to realize that you're going to be wanting to eat sushi, 10 minutes in, the moment you realize it, the sushi will be at your doorstep. So, conversion rate, perfect. I mean, skyrocketing. But if you think about, this like very human aspect of our personalities, right? Longing for something, like even having a doubt, right? Like, is sushi really what I should eat today? Like, you're not gonna have a choice anymore. So I think like this is the gloomy part. There is also, of course, you can optimize for decreased friction, which is obviously great. And I think in the one of the latest pieces of Citrini research, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys have seen it, and it was very gloomy. I do realize that, but there was one positive aspect that it was describing, right? So it was reducing the waste, deactivating the subscriptions that you haven't been using for years sometimes, right? Finding you a better bargain, better pricing, negotiating for you, finding you something that is a better fit, right? Sometimes that is something that you would have never realized it existed in the first place if it wasn't for the agent, right? So if the conversion rate is better because of like cutting, like removing this friction, that's great. But if it comes at the expense of exploiting our biases, I think it's hard to call it a win. And we still don't know who's taking the accountability.
There's so many questions I have, and we have so little time now. So I think for the people in the audience, and as every discussion, that we need to talk about what does the future hold. And actually, with AI, what we talk about today is not going to be the same like in 18
Yeah,
months, let
absolutely.
alone in 5 years.
Absolutely.
But if we do fast forward, perhaps a few years, maybe not a few weeks, how does a healthy, and I would like to say that the word healthy is key here, healthy version of AI-powered commerce can actually look like?
All right. So, like, I would first of all challenge this. Like, uh, I would be asking myself, do you think that we live in a healthy version of commerce nowadays? You have Timu, you have fast fashion, you have and like this is all delivered like almost 24 hours after you had the thought, after you came out with this idea of having yet another thing, another piece of clothing or something to eat or another piece of electronics. So many people being addicted. Not only to shopping, to gaming, to gambling. Like, is this a healthy version of commerce? I don't think so. And then I like to think of AI as a big magnifying glass. So I think what it's going to do, among other things, of course, but I think one thing it's going to do is it's going to amplify all of these worst and best tendencies that we see in the world, in us, and in commerce, for that matter. And by this token, I think we need to really seriously take the question of trust and how we make it a foundation of this future world, because like again, what can happen, and let me invoke Dukai again. He was speaking about this example of AlphaGo Move 37 in one of his interviews, and where the AI playing with a human, right? And Go is this very old Chinese game, and we humans, we thought that we have it all figured, right? And then at some point, the AI made this famous move 37, and it was so uncanny. Like, we couldn't comprehend what exactly it was doing. And then, few moves down, we realized that it was brilliant. And it was brilliant enough that we were unable to come up with it. Now, translate that to the world of commerce, where the AI will be making moves 37 every day, every hour of the day. So I think before we build this trusted ecosystem, when you have millions of agents roaming the web, and you're gonna have to make them verifiable, right? Uh, you need to have a good identity verification. You need to make it traceable. You need to make it auditable, maybe reversible. But then, who takes the consequences of it being reversible? And the ecosystem. If you don't have governance that is based on trust, that is based on rules of on accountability, I think we're gonna, in this transition time, and there will be mistakes made, I'm sure. We might find ourselves really lost in this world. So we need to be very, very careful. And I know that the word of trust, like, it might sound, tacky to a lot, but if it's not a foundation, we might get ourselves in trouble.
Okay, perfect. And this is all the time that we have. However, you guys, you can find Anna at the stand and at the booth with her team, so you can ask all the questions I did not have time to ask. And also believe there's a PayPal party going to be
There
going on
is,
today.
yes, later
Are the
today.
people invited?
I mean, of
I don't
course,
know. Maybe they're not, and it's like invite only. So I just
guys,
totally snapped
find
it.
find the event on Luma, and I'm sure we're gonna have a couple of more spots, and yeah, we're gonna be here all day. I'm at the booth, as Julia said. Find me. I'm happy to have interesting conversations.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.